should I talk about this? I don't know. Everything always, everyone goes into a tizzy whenever I talk about any famous person. There's always some kind of tizzy, right? But also people are hacking my phone. And I don't like to make explanations. I don't tend to like to make explanations of stuff that I look at on my phone. Sometimes I think something is serious enough that I will talk about it. Like I'll talk about it because but I generally have a purpose about it. I generally have kind of a I try to make it serve my purpose in terms of like what I'm talking about in general, about what the conglomerate is doing. Because the conglomerate affects a lot. It affects a lot of things in the world, right? Not just me personally. Oh gosh, I walked into an alley in my dead end. I don't know. Anyway, really nice area. There's a lot of like alleys in Boston which are just really, just kind of like between buildings and stuff, and it's just really, they're very nice to walk through actually. It's a really nice part of town. But I think I went the wrong way and maybe I can't get out this way. Anyway, so it's funny because I heard a song over the loudspeaker. Oh no, I can't get out this way. I heard a song over the loudspeaker when I was in the store the other day, and so I just listened to the whole thing at YouTube. And oh, Bryan Adams, I'll tell you what, he's I think of the era the time when I remember listening to his music the most was like when I was in middle school, so like 7th and 8th grade, which is just you're very impressionable in terms of oh my gosh, everything. Right? I think it's probably one of your most impressionable times. You're not cynical. You're starting to be very curious about like the opposite sex and how all of that happens. And it's just you're just like one nerve. You're like interested. Oh, this is by the Boston Ballet. Great. Where all those kids running around, when all the predators waiting for them outside. Thanks. Very helpful. So anyway, so the thing, like, things can get impressed upon you at that time in your life where there's just kind of never a time when like music or other things from that time don't immediately make you just think, oh, you can't really help it. Oh, like I remember when, and you immediately kind of, it's like a direct route to that feeling, that very uncomplicated feeling, right? Of just like this, I don't know, sort of just, it's like kind of wanting to be older. You're not really sure about being excited to be young yet. It takes you like a few years to get to really feel good about being young, because what you feel most of the time is younger. You're like, you're too young for this, you're too young for that. Everything that's like just a few years older than you is incredibly interesting. Everything that's like, anybody who's 20 seems like the oldest person in the world. Oh my god, they're old, they're so mature, and they must be so sophisticated. So I mean, all of those things, right? And you get all those feelings together. There was when was it? I'm just like talking now. I'm talking now. I happened to listen to that song, and then I just started thinking about all sorts of things. But I happened to go to something in Vermont. It was like, it was like stand-up comedy in Vermont. I don't know, it was 10 years ago, something like that. It was a stand-up comedy like 10 years ago. I think it's just in Vermont. Just there, I happened to be somewhere, and they had just it took, for like, I don't know, maybe it's half an hour or something like that. And these guys, they did part of their skit was being like kids dancing at a middle school, and it was so funny. I mean, they had them doing the dance with like how we did it when I was in middle school. So I mean, I wasn't like what they're doing in middle school now, I don't know. But they were like, they had like their hands, like the one with the hands on the shoulders, and then like very like the ones with the hands on the waist, and then like very stiff and everything, and like all like embarrassed and like 2 feet apart, and it just really so funny. But that's how it was, right? That's how middle school was when I was in middle school. And like Bryan Adams is so totally of that time for me, right? And in fact, though, the thing is, though, music from the past. I mean, sometimes I will cringe a little bit about music that's not super old. I mean, super old. You're always gonna make somebody unhappy by calling something old. But old is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just who doesn't get old? Only people who die young don't get old, right? But like super old, you're starting to talk about like the 50s, maybe the 40s, 60s, you know, 70s were not, I'm not terribly excited about like 70s music, that kind of thing. I don't know that it was like it was overall such a great time for music. The 80s, you know, so the 80s were kind of like, there are times when I cringe a little bit in terms of like some of the like you can hear like just this very electronic music, and some of like some of like the musical phrases. I'm like, oh, a little bit. I cringe a little bit. But at the same time, you have to remember that that's what there was. That was what was available. It was like state of the art in technology at that time. You know what I mean? And it was just, and still, even in the midst of the things that make you cringe now, you can still hear talented people. You can hear talent. You can hear things that are, you know, good music. Really, for the most part. You know. Anyway, that's my spiel about that. I heard a song in a store. I listened to it at YouTube, and that was kind of everything I had to say about it.